Welcome to the deep dive. For Intune administrators like you, well, every Patch Tuesday brings quite a stack of crucial information.
It certainly does.
Today, we're aiming to cut through some of that noise. We're diving deep into the PortalFuse weekly KB update report for July 8, 2025.
A big one this month.
Our mission, really, is to pull out the most important nuggets, the key insights, and give you a crystal clear view of these updates and what they mean for your managed environments.
Think of it as a strategic briefing. What really matters this time around.
Exactly. Because when you're managing those enterprise fleets, the sheer volume and honestly the interconnectedness of all these security updates, it can feel pretty daunting.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not just about hitting approve on patches anymore. It's about maintaining integrity, compliance, the whole security posture of your infrastructure.
So a structured approach is key.
Essential, yeah. You need it to really grasp what's happening and, more importantly, pinpoint the exact actions you need to take within your Intune console.
Okay, let's start peeling back the layers on this specific Patch Tuesday then. As we look through the PortalFuse report, one thing really jumped out. All 19 updates released this period are classified as primarily security related. That feels like a shift, doesn't it? Usually it's more of a mix, features, quality fixes.
That's a really sharp observation, and it does signal, I think, a critical strategic focus from Microsoft this month.
So what's behind that universal security classification?
Well, it usually stems from a few things. Some updates might directly target specific named security vulnerabilities. Others are just flat out designated as security updates.
Right.
But the really dominant reason, the thread running through almost every single KB this month, is this huge emphasis on the impending expiration of secure boot certificates.
Ah, okay, that definitely stood out.
It's not just another vulnerability. This is foundational. It impacts the device's boot process itself. It's a systemic issue needing a systemic response.
And that secure boot focus, it felt like the central theme, almost a drumbeat through the whole report. For administrators listening, what's the real urgency here? Why is it so critical?
The urgency, it really can't be overstated. Secure boot, it's that standard the PC industry developed.
To ensure trusted software boots the device, right, from the OEM.
Exactly. It builds that chain of trust firmware, bootloader, OS. These certificates are the cryptographic keys verifying that whole process.
Okay.
Now, these specific certificates, they start expiring in June 2026. That date is looming.
And if they're not updated?
If you don't proactively update them, devices could simply fail to boot securely, or worst case, become completely inoperable once that deadline hits.
So we could be talking about devices turning into bricks, or at least refusing to start up. That's an IT admin's nightmare scenario.
Pretty much, yeah. And the implications for an Intune administrator go beyond just the technical bit. Well, it becomes this massive operational and compliance challenge. First, you've got to identify every single endpoint in your fleet that relies on these certificates.
Which is basically every modern Windows device.
Virtually all of them, yes.
Yeah.
Then you have to ensure they get the necessary updates to renew or replace those certificates, and well in advance of June 2026.
Because failure means
widespread device outages, potentially, huge productivity loss, and possible compliance issues, especially if your regulations mandate secure boot.
Right, makes sense.
So it forces administrators to move beyond just reacting to Patch Tuesday. You need to be planning comprehensive remediation strategies now.
Like identifying all affected endpoints, understanding how updates apply across different OS versions, different hardware.
Precisely. And this is where Intune's reporting capabilities have become absolutely vital for assessing that readiness.
That really puts the timeline and the potential impact into sharp focus. Okay, let's dive into the specifics then. We should probably start with the Windows 10 updates.
That's good.
Let's kick off with KB 5062554. This one's for Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC 2021, the IoT Enterprise LTSC 2021, and all editions of Windows 10 version 22H2. The report clearly marks it as an essential security update.
Right, KB 5062554. It's quite broad, this one. It delivers what Microsoft calls miscellaneous security improvements, also unspecified security enhancements to internal Windows OS functionality.
Unspecified always feels a bit vague.
It can, yeah. But for an Intune admin, that usually signals they're patching a range of vulnerabilities. Things like potential privilege escalation, info disclosure, denial of service, often within core Windows components.
So closing off common attack vectors.
Exactly. Bolstering the OS's overall security posture. And PortalFuse notes this one tracks 23 distinct CVEs, so it gives you a sense of the breadth of issues underneath.
And as we've been discussing, that warning about secure boot certificates expiring starting June 2026, it's explicitly mentioned again right here in this KB.
Yep, really hammering that point home. It underlines how pervasive this issue is.
But this update also has a specific known issue flagged. What should administrators be aware of there?
Ah, yes. The known issue with KB 5062554 is quite specific, more of a user experience thing. It describes blurry or unclear CJK text. That's Chinese, Japanese, and Korean text.
Okay.
It happens when it's displayed at 96 dpi in Chromium-based browsers, so Edge and Chrome. Apparently, it's related to issues with Noto fonts.
Not a security flaw, but definitely impactful for users in those regions.
Absolutely. Imagine that across a global company with thousands of users relying on CJK text. It's not just a minor annoyance. It could genuinely hurt productivity and will flood your help desk.
Is there a workaround?
The suggested workaround is fairly simple. Users just need to increase their display scaling.
So for an Intune administrator,
It means thinking about proactive communication, maybe letting affected user groups know ahead of time. Or, depending on how bad it is in your environment, perhaps even exploring a temporary display scaling policy push via Intune to mitigate that user impact.
good point. It's a reminder that even security patches can have these unexpected but still significant operational side effects.
Definitely.
All right, let's transition over to KB 5062561. This is another security update, this one tailored for Windows 10, specifically OS build 102.4.21073. Focuses again on security improvements and, surprise, surprise, carries that warning about secure boot certificate expiration.
Right, KB 5062561. This one's particularly relevant if you're still managing older Windows 10 builds. We're talking version 1507 here.
The original release.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It provides targeted security enhancements for internal OS functions, trying to shore up defenses on these older systems. And the secure boot warning here is flagged as a high-impact vulnerability for these legacy systems.
High impact. Okay, that underscores the risk.
It really does. And it's significant because, as the Portal Fuse source explicitly states, official support for Windows 10 version 1507 ends on October 14, 2025.
Ah, so the clock is really ticking.
Yeah, definitely. If you're still managing devices on OS build 10240, this update highlights two urgent needs. First, address the secure boot issue. Second, you need to accelerate those migration plans because free updates and support are ending very soon.
And this one tracks 13 CVEs, according to the report.
Correct. So specific targeted security fixes for these older platforms as they approach end of life.
Got it. Okay, next up, KB 5062682. This is marked as an essential update for Windows 10 versions 21H2 and 22H2. Big focus, again, on this secure boot certificate expiration, but also enhancing setup binaries.
Yeah, KB 5062682 is really about the integrity of your Windows 10 upgrade process. It primarily improves the setup binaries.
Those are the core files the setup process uses for feature updates.
Exactly. And this is crucial because these binaries are responsible for correctly handling and applying the necessary secure boot certificate updates during the OS upgrade or feature update itself.
Ah, so even if you deploy the certificate updates, if the setup mechanism isn't ready, they might not install correctly.
Precisely. They might not get installed or recognized properly by the firmware. So the critical impact vulnerability, as highlighted in the known issues here, is still that secure boot expiration. The risk is real. Devices failing to boot securely after June 2026 if these certificates aren't properly managed by ensuring the update mechanism itself is sound.
So this update helps ensure the long-term secure boot capability for these Windows 10 versions.
That's the goal, yes, as they move through their life cycle.
Okay, moving along to the SafeOS dynamic updates. We've got two here for Windows 10. First is KB 5062691 for versions 21H2 and 22H2. Second is KB 5062692 for version 1507, both noted for enhancing the Windows recovery environment, WinRE, and predictably, both highlight secure boot certificate expiration.
These SafeOS dynamic updates, they're really foundational for system resilience, for recovery. Their main job is to make WinRE more robust, more reliable.
Which is your emergency toolkit if things go wrong, especially with boot issues like expire certificates.
Exactly. You want that toolkit to be fully functional and up to date. Now, a key thing for Intune administrators with these specific updates, KB 5062691 and KB 5062692, is that once you apply them to a Windows image, they cannot be removed.
Ah, okay. That's important. No easy rollback.
Right, which makes your Intune deployment rings and phased rollouts absolutely critical. You need solid testing in pilot groups because there's no simple undo for these foundational updates, particularly if you're baking them into a standard or golden image.
Makes sense.
And specifically for KB 5062692, the one for 1507, it also carries that extra reminder about end of support in October 2025. So it adds another layer of urgency, fix secure boot, and finalize migration now.
Got it. Following that, let's touch on KD50627888. This is also for Windows 10 version 1507. Another essential update, again focused on enhancing setup binaries and crucial for secure boot certificate integrity.
Yeah, KB50627888 really reinforces that theme for 1507, especially as it speeds towards end of support. It's about ensuring the proper management and application of secure boot certificates during setup processes on these specific legacy systems.
Vital for keeping them booting securely.
Absolutely vital. By strengthening those setup binaries, it lowers the risk of certificate-related boot failures on systems that are probably already facing lifecycle challenges anyway. So while you're planning your migration off 1507, this helps keep the remaining devices as secure and functional as possible in the meantime. Make sure the update mechanism can handle certificate renewals reliably.
Any known issues with this one?
No, the report doesn't list any known issues specifically for KB50627888, which is actually good news for anyone managing this older version. One less thing to worry about there.
Okay, good. Now, to wrap up our Windows 10 section, we have KB5063523. This is a Windows recovery environment update, but for the more current Windows 10 versions, 21H2 and 22H2. It directly addresses secure boot certificates and also includes a specific bug fix.
All right, KB5063523 is quite a comprehensive WinRE update, and it has a direct impact on the admin experience, which is nice. One key thing it does is fix that annoying error install failure message.
Oh, the one from the previous WinRE update, KB5057589.
That's the one. If you install that older update before April 21st, 2025, you might have seen that error. This KB fixes it, which should make the WinRE update process smoother overall.
That's helpful. And secure boot.
Of course, the critical impact vulnerability of secure boot expiration is central here too. It plays its part in preventing future boot problems by making the recovery environment better equipped to handle them.
What about deploying it? Anything specific admins need to know?
Yes, very important prerequisites noted for this one. You need at least 250 millibytes of free space in the recovery partition.
Okay, 250 millibyte free.
And you also need to verify that the current WinRE image version is less than 10.19041.6090.
So you can't just push it blindly.
Definitely not. You'll need to use Intune's reporting or maybe some custom scripts to target only the devices that meet these requirements. That recovery partition space especially can sometimes be tricky. Might need pre-flight checks or even scripts to expand partitions before deploying this KB.
And like the other SafeOS updates.
Exactly. This update also cannot be removed once it's applied. So those prerequisites, they're non-negotiable if you want a smooth deployment and reliable recovery capability afterwards.
Makes sense. Thorough testing is key there. Okay, let's shift gears now and focus on Windows 11 updates.
All right.
We'll start with KB5062552. This one's for Windows 11 Enterprise and Education version 22H2, and also all editions of Windows 11 version 23H2. Classified as a critical security update, addresses significant security issues, and yes, the secure boot certificate expiration theme continues.
KB5062552 is definitely a substantial update for Win 11 environments. It signals a pretty broad sweep of security improvements. Beyond the secure boot concern, which, yes, is highlighted again as critical, this update includes a really specific and, I think, impactful improvement.
Oh, what's that?
It resolves an issue that was causing black screen problems during display changes. You know, like when you connect or disconnect an external monitor.
Yes. That can be incredibly frustrating for users.
Exactly. Especially in hybrid work settings, conference rooms, people plugging and unplugging laptops all the time, consistent black screens, that's a poor user experience and guaranteed help desk calls. So this isn't just security, it's a significant quality of life fix.
Good to hear. Anything else in this one?
It also incorporates quality enhancements that originated back in Windows 11 version 22H2 into the 23H2 version, suggesting a sort of broader maturation of the OS platform as well.
Okay, next for Windows 11 is KB5062553. Another critical security update, this time for the newer Windows 11 version 24H2. Again, emphasizes significant security issues and, naturally, secure boot certificate expiration.
Indeed. KB5062553, much like the one for 22H2, 23H2, addresses a wide range of security concerns for this latest Windows 11 iteration. And again, beyond the fundamental secure boot note, it brings several other key improvements that affect user experience and admin diagnostics.
Like what?
Well, it resolves some graphics synchronization issues, specifically where game content could get out of sync with the cursor position after using Alt+ tab in full-screen exclusive mode, especially if the game resolution was different from the desktop resolution.
Okay, maybe a bit niche for some enterprises, but still good for graphics-heavy users, or maybe even employee wellness programs involving games.
Potentially, yeah. It also fixes an issue where multimedia notifications weren't playing sounds. Things like system alerts, volume adjustments, even sign-in sounds. Missing those could mean missing critical system notifications.
Right, and for administrators.
It corrects a misleading config read failed message that's Event 2042 that sometimes popped up in Event Viewer related to Windows Firewall. Fixing that provides clearer, more accurate diagnostic info when you're troubleshooting network connectivity or firewall rules.
That's definitely helpful for troubleshooting. Okay, let's discuss KB50626683. This is an essential update for Windows 11 versions 22H2 and 23H2. Primary focus, enhancing setup binaries, and, you guessed it, emphasizing the secure boot certificate expiration.
Yes, KB50626683 plays that crucial role again, maintaining the integrity and smooth running of feature updates for Windows 11. It enhances those setup binaries, the underlying files and mechanisms used during feature updates.
Making sure updates apply smoothly and handle the secure boot certificate updates correctly during the process.
Exactly. It's like hardening the delivery mechanism for those critical security components. And the critical impact vulnerability highlighted in the known issues remains secure boot expiration. The risk is devices failing to boot securely post-June 2026 if certificates aren't addressed properly through a robust update process.
So supporting the foundational security and the long-term upgrade path for Windows 11.
Precisely.
All right, to wrap up the Windows 11 section, we have KB5062693. This is a SafeOS dynamic update for Windows 11 versions 22H2 and 23H2, enhances WinRE, and of course notes the secure boot certificate expiration.
KB5062693 is another one of those central components for system recovery and resilience in Windows 11. Its job is improving WinRE functionality. Specifically, it updates the WinRE version to 10.0.22621.5624.
Which is important for having robust recovery capabilities, especially if you hit secure boot issues down the line.
Critically important, yes. And for Intune admins managing Windows 11 images, remember, just like its Windows 10 counterparts, this update cannot be removed once it's applied to an image.
So meticulous image management, thorough testing in deployment rings, rigorous validation before broad deployment.
All essential. You need to ensure that recovery environment is always functional and ready for whatever might happen.
It's incredibly clear that secure boot is the main thread tying almost all of these together. But let's shift focus now to updates that impact multiple operating systems.
Good idea. There are a few important ones there, too.
Let's start with KB5062557. This is a critical security update covering Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC 2019, IoT Enterprise LTSC 2019, IoT Core LTSC, and Windows Server 2019. This one's interesting. It focuses on network security and DHCP server functionality, and notably, it doesn't explicitly mention secure boot expiration.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
KB5062557 really does stand out in this report precisely because it breaks that secure boot pattern.
So what's its focus instead?
It tackles a very specific, quite important issue in something called the charnexW function. This function was causing incorrect character rendering, which particularly impacted GB 18030/2022 compliance.
Which is a standard for Chinese language support.
It's exactly a crucial one. The fix involved replacing that problematic legacy function with a modern ICU-based solution. So it ensures proper, accurate handling of those linguistic requirements. For global companies, that means ensuring compliance and seamless operation for users in different locales, avoiding potential data corruption or display problems.
Okay, that's significant for international operations. Anything else in KB5062557?
Yes. A couple other notable things. There's a valuable medium impact improvement related to input and composition. It addresses the complete and proper removal of unused language packs and features on demand, or FOD packages.
So cleaning up unused stuff.
Right. For Intune admins, that's a practical win. It translates directly to reduced storage use on endpoints. And it can actually decrease Windows Update installation time. Tangible benefits for performance and efficiency, especially in large deployments.
That's always welcome. And the network security part.
Most critically, yes. This KB fixes an intermittent DHCP service issue that was affecting IP renewal for clients.
Intermittent DHCP issues are the worst.
They're a nightmare for network reliability, aren't they? Leads to IP conflicts, connection drops, potential widespread service outages. This fix is absolutely critical for maintaining stable network operations, especially in big dynamic environments.
So even without the secure boot hook, this is a really important operational fix for those server and LTSC environments.
Hugely important, yes.
Okay, next we have KB5062560.
Sure.
This is a security update for Windows 10 version 1607 and all editions of Windows Server 2016. This one does bring back the secure boot certificate expiration topic, and it also resolves a DHCP server service issue.
Right. KB5062560 is crucial if you're still managing those older Windows 10, 1607, or Windows Server 2016 environments. It explicitly highlights that critical impact vulnerability of secure boot expiration for these specific older OS and server versions.
The message is consistent then. Patch proactively for June 2026.
Absolutely. And that can be particularly challenging for older server infrastructure where update cycles might be slower due to critical workloads running on them.
In the DHCP fix.
Simultaneously, yes, it reiterates the resolution for that intermittent DHCP service issue we just talked about. Emphasizes its importance for network reliability across these affected systems too.
So a dual impact patch for these older environments addresses critical security and operational stability.
Exactly. Tackles both a foundational security risk and a major operational headache.
Got it. Let's introduce KB5062688. This is a SafeOS dynamic update covering Windows 11 version 24H2 and Windows Server 2025. Enhances WinRE, but also includes a critical fix for USB-C functionality on ARM64 devices.
Yeah, KB5062688 is quite interesting. It brings that very specific critical bug fix for USB-C on ARM64 devices. Apparently, it addresses an issue where USB-C ports weren't working correctly because of a missing UCM UCSI device.
So for anyone deploying or planning to deploy ARM64 devices, this is a big functional fix.
Huge. Ensures critical peripherals, docking stations actually function as expected. A non-working USB-C port on a modern laptop that severely impacts usability and productivity.
Definitely. And secure boot.
It's back again. The critical impact vulnerability of secure boot expiration is highlighted once more, reinforcing how pervasive it is, even across newer OS versions like Windows 11 24H2 and Windows Server 2025, and across different architectures like ARM64.
And the SafeOS caveat.
The same one applies. For Intune administrators, this SafeOS dynamic update, like the others, cannot be removed once applied to an image. Careful validation in your testing rings is absolutely paramount before pushing this out to your ARM64 fleet.
Right. Okay, we also have KB5062690, another SafeOS dynamic update, this time for Windows 10 Enterprise version 1809 and Windows Server 2019. Again, enhancing WinRE and addressing the impending secure boot certificate expiration.
KB5062690 serves a similar purpose, just targeted at these older LTSC and server versions. It improves the Windows recovery environment, enhances that safety net for system recovery in case of failures or boot problems.
And reaffirms the secure boot warning.
Critically, yes. It reaffirms a critical impact vulnerability. The advisory is clear. Fail to update certificates by June 2026, and these devices could be prevented from booting securely. That could mean complex recovery procedures.
And non-removable once applied.
Consistent with the others? Yes. Cannot be removed once applied to a Windows image. Another critical point for your imaging and deployment strategies. Emphasizes needing thorough testing and validation of server and LTSC images before you roll them out widely.
Okay, moving on to KB5062785. This is a critical update for Windows 11 version 24H2 and Windows Server 2025. Focus here is on enhancing setup binaries and maintaining secure boot certificate integrity.
Right. KB5062785 focuses on the integrity and reliability of the setup process itself, specifically for feature updates on these newer OS versions, Windows 11 24H2 and Server 2025.
And its role regarding secure boot certificates.
It's vital. By enhancing those setup binaries, it helps ensure certificates are properly managed and applied during upgrades. Critical for seamless secure booting, especially as these systems get future feature updates.
And it reinforces the secure boot vulnerability warning again.
It does. Reiterates the potential for devices to fail secure boot if not proactively updated, and really highlights that the update mechanism itself needs to be robust to handle this certificate renewal properly. It's a foundational update for maintaining the lifecycle and security of these newer systems.
Makes sense. Okay, to wrap up our multi-OS section, we have KB5062787. This is a critical update for Windows 10, version 1809, and Windows Server 2019. Also focused on enhancing setup binaries, but this one provides explicit guidance on secure boot certificate management.
Yes, KB5062787 brings a high-impact improvement to the setup binaries themselves. boosting reliability and performance during feature updates for 1809 and Server 2019. That's significant for LTSC versions where stability is really paramount.
And the guidance aspect.
That's what makes this one particularly noteworthy for Intune admins. It provides a medium-impact improvement by offering clear, explicit direction on updating secure boot certificates before the June 2026 expiration.
So it's not just a technical fix, but actual administrative guidance.
Yes, exactly. Directly addressing the core theme of this whole Patch Tuesday report. It's a proactive measure to ensure continued secure boot, especially helpful for these versions where maybe a more phased update approach is common. It allows administrators to bake this guidance right into their long-term planning and deployment strategies.
Very useful. Okay, so we've just completed our pretty deep dive into the Portal Fuse weekly KB update report for July 8th, 2025. It's abundantly clear this was an unusual Patch Tuesday. Very focused.
Absolutely. When you look across all those KBs, the dominant, undeniably critical theme is that widespread urgent focus on secure boot certificate expiration. That June 2026 deadline is just looming everywhere. Windows 10, Windows 11, various multi-OS server environments. It really urges proactive measures now before devices start facing potential boot failures or compliance headaches.
Right. That was definitely the loudest message.
Beyond that central theme, though, we saw a range of other significant things addressed. Those miscellaneous security improvements, strengthening internal OS functions, closing off attack vectors.
And the WinRE enhancements.
Crucial enhancements to the Windows recovery environment across different versions, yeah. Bolstering system resilience, but with that important caveat about them being non-removable once applied to an image key for Intune image management.
We also had those critical fixes for DHCP server stability.
Vital for network operations, preventing those intermittent connectivity nightmares. And Windows 11 users got some specific graphics and multimedia fixes too, directly impacting user experience.
And finally, that consistent focus on enhancing the setup binaries across multiple OS versions.
Foundational stuff, yeah. Ensuring smooth, reliable, secure feature updates, and especially critical for handling those secure boot certificate renewals properly.
So putting it all together, this really raises an important question for the administrator listening in. Given this widespread foundational impact of the secure boot certificate expiration, have you actually initiated a comprehensive audit of your endpoints? Are you using tools like Intune's reporting to really assess their readiness for this critical deadline?
And maybe even beyond that.
Yeah.
What are your strategic plans for managing those devices that might be harder to update? Legacy systems, specialized hardware, things that might not easily receive these updates and could require a more hands-on approach or perhaps even network isolation strategies.
A truly critical question for every administrator out there to be thinking about right now.
Definitely something to mull over.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Stay informed and stay secure.